Okay, what is up YouTube? So today we're going to talk about my Dragons B10 team on Monster Super League. It is an Evo, it does contain some Evo2s, and I think that's important because you do not actually have to have all of your units at Evo 3. It helps, but it's not a requirement. It is a requirement for your main damage dealers, but these stunners, it's helpful, but it's not necessary. And even their gems, they don't have to be, great when it comes to damage. Now, if the monster is crit reliant, you do absolutely need to try and get it as close to 100% crit rate as possible, because every time they fail, then that is more than likely a failed run and an extra refill. So we're going to start with this Wetsura. So to start off with his skills, I'm going to talk about my gems. The actual runs are in a different video, and I will put a link in the description. But Wetsura is nice because he offers this 100% 2-turn stun. So when it comes to the light Persef, getting her out of commission as soon as possible is very important. So if you only have that 1-turn stun that a few other monsters offer, like the light Medusa or the shock like the light Sparket, then she will come back around pretty quickly to try and kill your team. Whereas if you have this 2-turn stun, she will be out of commission. You have much longer to actually kill her. Now, it might not be as important for the light Sparket, because she will, if the shock lands for the Sparket, she will have duck down, or she will also get her defense down, and it might be easier to kill before she is out of shock the following turn. But the other nice thing about Wetsura, which most people don't seem to use, is the fact that he actually has this 40% predator skill, and so that gives him a lot of extra damage. This Sura can actually do some very nice damage even at Evo 2, which was surprising to me, because he was I started using him as just a little bit of a filler, because I didn't feel like raising an extra unit that I wasn't going to use otherwise. He was actually meant for PvP, and I had already raised him to 6-star. But his gem, so I do have a crit damage gem on him, and this is really just because it's what I had available, but it's also very helpful because it doesn't just stack attack. We get this extra crit damage on him, whereas he is not a dart monster, so he doesn't have that extra 50% crit. So he's probably very close to the efficient 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to attack and crit damage, or maybe a little bit off. He's probably a little bit off of that, but I do think it offers some efficiency. And then he's got this attack gem, and really I don't have a lot of great in triangles, so I was lucky to actually get him up to 97. Then we've got his crit rate gem, which is mediocre as well. But as you can see, he's got 97% crit, so he does fail 3% of the time. Most of the time, it doesn't really extend the runs too much. But every failure has that potential to force you into another refill on Dragons B10. So let's look at the Dark Pick I use in this team. Her skill, so she's got this 1-turn stun, and she's a dart monster, so having 3 dart monsters on your team will kind of help your Gatito. It'll make it more likely that your Gatito will not get hit, and he will survive. And the funny thing is, this Dark Pick can't actually take 1 hit from the light Persef, and I'm not sure if she crits if it'll kill her, but she can't. I have seen her survive 1 hit, from the light Persef, so it gives you another turn to stun. She's the one who's targeted. But yeah, so she's got this 1-turn stun, and it's crit dependent, so you really have to get her as close to 100% crit as possible. 100% is pretty necessary. Then you've got this defense down, which is helpful at the dragon. So the stun is helpful for Seth in the wave units, and then the defense down is helpful in the dragon. So here are her gems. She's got a plus 12 HP gem, and it has some nice defense on it, so that's probably why she survives as well as she does against one shot from the light Seth. And it's got 13% crit rate. She has over 100% crit on her. So she will always get her crit off, and then it's just dependent on whether it lands. And so this is not a great gem, but it does have crit rate on it. It's not plus 15, it's only a plus 13 attack gem. I do have a plus 15 intuition crit rate gem, because like I said, it is necessary to get her at 100% crit rate. Okay, and then we have the Gatito. So this is the one I actually use for dragons, and all of his gems are at plus 15 because he is your workhorse. He's doing all of the damage, the vast majority of the damage. Everyone else just kind of helps when it comes to damage. But he's got this plus 15 crit rate gem. Your Gatito needs to be at 100% crit rate, because if he fails, then he is not maximizing his damage, and he's likely not killing that dragon when you get there. So this is not a great gem, but it gets him up to 100% crit rate. And this is probably the worst and best part of this build. So this particular gem is on him because it has that plus 25% crit rate, and it allows me to get a ruin set that gets him up to 100% crit rate, even though it is a 5-star gem. So the crit rate is really why this gem is used on my Gatito. I actually had a 6-star gem on him that had him at about 95-98% crit rate, and he just failed too much everywhere. And then this is the last gem. So this too is not the greatest gem, but it's got crit rate on it, and he's on a full ruin set. And as you can see with his stats, he's got pretty nice stats, and he's at 92% crit rate. So last is my Thor, and Thor is also not at a full, also not have a full plus 15 gem set. So as you can see with this one, he's only got a plus 12 defense, and that's because he can actually survive one hit from the light Seth, even with only this plus 12 defense gem on him. He's got plus 14%, and really an HP gem would probably be better on my Thor to help him survive longer. But this is what I had that has crit rate, and the crit rate is what is important when it comes to Thor. So I forgot to get his skills, so let's get his skills. Not his skill book, but his skills. Yeah, so crit dependent defense, everyone pretty much knows what Thor does. Defense down, and then he's got that courageous strike, which is helpful, but you know, it's kind of mediocre when it comes to the dragon. And he's also got this crit rate. So this one is pretty nice. It gives him plus 13 defense, and a little bit extra attack, and of course something rolled into that flat HP, which is not great. And then we've got this attack set, which is a plus 15 6-star intuition gem, and it has only 6.5% crit rate. But it also adds to his defense stats, and it's got some nice resist on him. So you know, these gems can be better, but but this team is very effective, and it just offers another option for anyone who is looking to build their team and who may only want to build one unit for this particular to run dragons with. If you've got most of these monsters and you need a starter team, then yeah. So I hope that helped someone out there. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe so I can make a few more.